Some consider it an issue of chivalry. Others think it's just plain awkward. You know, the time of the date, the check comes, and you're faced with the uncomfortable subject of who pays.
And here to clear up all of the confusion and your questions about what to do and what to stay away from on a date is style expert George Worrell.
George,
welcome, George.
Let's start with this. Pat's a married woman, so we won't use her as an example.
But I haven't always been.
Yeah, she could be an example.
All right.
Yeah.
I remember when.
And it's still relevant.
You go out with a woman, you're on a date. Who gets the bill?
Well, it depends who asks. If she asks you.
Okay.
I mean, and today, you know, she can pay.
If she asks you out,
yes.
she pays.
The way I was raised, and we go further to now, meaning that we knew that if I asked you to go out, even you, Craig, just say if it was business, I'm paying.
So
that was an automatic.
Pays, it's a simple rule.
And now everybody, it's freedom everywhere.
Okay,
so.
let me give you a scenario here. Then what if you're talking to somebody and it's like, hey, you know, we should get together sometime, and the other person's like, yeah, we should get together sometime, and then you go out, and there really hasn't been a clear ask. How do you decide?
Well, usually you can say, hey, would you like to split it?
Okay.
Double Dutch.
Or if you think there's an issue, talk about it first. Do you know what I mean? And I think people, that's where they go wrong with not having dialogue about it. They think that it's just going to be okay. And I've been out many times, and the check comes, and the check is like sitting there, and you think like the check fairy is going to come from someplace and pay the check, and it's not going to happen.
Okay, so now what if the woman invites the man out, and then they eat, they enjoy it, and he doesn't feel comfortable having her pay when she whips out her card?
Well, you can discuss that, and if he insists on it, then say, hey, well, let's go out for ice cream, or let's do a movie, and I'll pay. Or let's just go Dutch. You know, respect the person of what they want to do. If they don't want to, if they feel uncomfortable, like some women will say, well, I'd rather pay on the first date because I don't want them to be at the end to think that, you know, there's going to be something extra.
But you don't want to offend your date, so if he doesn't want you to pay and he wants to do it, then, you know.
I have no problem with that. You know, but you do respect people's boundaries. If you say, hey, I feel more comfortable paying.
Okay.
And you make a good point. That at the end of the day, it's all about communication. Like communication
it's about communication.
That we have to somehow figure out how to broach what can be an extremely awkward conversation. Because no one really wants to talk about the check and money and things like that.
The overall experience is what you want to have. And going out on the first date or going out with friends, the last thing that you want to do is have this feeling of taking away from the atmosphere of worrying about the check. Do you know what I mean?
Okay. So your third rule here is invite her to dinner before or after the event if you have this conflict.
If you have a conflict, then it should be minimal.
Okay.
Talk about it first if you think there's an issue. I had a friend, we were at lunch yesterday, and she said that a gentleman said to her, like, hey, let's go out. I'm going to pay for dinner, but I only have enough, you know, when we go to the movie, so we're going to have to go Dutch. So that's too much information. So he should have just invited her to the movie. But just respect, just open dialogue, and just say, what do you feel comfortable with? If she...
Who paid for your last dinner, your last lunch?
I did.
You did? Did you invite?
Yes.
Okay.
So
you did it the right way.
rules.
But I mean, if somebody wants to invite me, hey, it's no problem.
This is totally unrelated to what we brought you here for. I love it takes a real man to pull off seersucker, George Worrell. It takes a real man to do it. I love it.
It's hot.
Well, that's true. It's practical, too.
But also, can we add this, too, about the rule? Like, you may not have the monies or whatever to go to lunch. If you know the person or you're getting to know and you feel safe about it, have them into dinner. You know, have them to your home.
That's going to cost more.
No, it's not. I've done dinners like that because I have my own business. I couldn't afford to take people to lunch. What I've done is I've cooked. And it gives a more intimate, you know. But bring something.
And talk about it.
Yeah, but I mean, like people coming to someone's house for the first time. My parents are from the South, so I integrated this. And it should be universal to bring a little something about it. Why not ask? Like my first time here, I brought you guys something.
Okay. What is this?
Just a little something.
Okay.
Yeah, just a little something.
Should we open it now or later?
Yeah, you can open it now. It's just a little something to start your morning.
Starbucks card.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
George Worrell will be back tomorrow and the day after. He's now a permanent guest on Daily Connect. Thanks, George. Appreciate it.
Thank you.